Well, my name is Pilani Litandanen Ndlovu. Uh, I just thought I would share a few ideas with you today regarding your destiny, how you should stand up and tell your own story. You see, every one of us is born to tell a story. Our lives constitute a story. Your life constitutes a story, your own story. Whether you are talking in terms of your private sphere of life, or you are talking in terms of your life at your workplace, your career, your business, or you are talking about your life as an as a constituent element of a political entity, that is a citizen of a country or a resident of a country, you have a story to tell. One of the fascinating truths that you will discover have got to do with the fact that if you do not tell your story, you invariably allow others to tell your story. You invariably permit your enemies and your distractors to tell your own story. And what happens after that? They tell your story from their own perspective. They always portray you within the light or within the context of the role that you are expected to serve as an adjunct, as an element, as an appendage of their own story. If you cease or if you desist from telling your own story, you dethrone yourself from the position of being the main actor in your own life. And then you become an adjunct or you become an assistant in the life of another person. I would like to say, I've observed for quite a while that the people around me, my family, my friends, my neighbors, the people of Matabele land where I grew up, for quite a while, they were not able to tell their own story. Each time they told their story, it always had to do with the Europeans, settlers who had come and occupied their land and so on, or it had to do with the Zimbabwean government and the unleashing of Gugrauni. Now, for quite a while, the people of Matabeleland were not able to tell their story from their own perspective, but I can see that changing. Lately, I see the people standing up from different corners, telling their story in the best way they can. And guess what has happened as a result of that? It is sending shivers even into the camps of those who had held them hostage for quite a while. You see, as long as you tell your story from the perspective of your enemy, as long as you tell your story from the position of being a victim upon whom something is being done by somebody, you are empowering those that supposedly have the authority to, perpetrate acts upon you. But when you grab your authority and you begin to tell the story from your own point of view and from your own the way you look at it, the way you understand, then you invariably, in fact, you claim control of your destiny and you are able to chart your way forward. So talking about the issue of telling your own story, I'd like to remind you that every story is told with an agenda. Every story is told with a slant, because every story is being told with the intention to promote a certain point of view, a certain narrative, and to achieve certain goals. So instead of telling the history of your forefathers from the point of view of what the enemy perceives, you should begin to tell your story from your own standpoint. Because when you tell the story from your own standpoint, you tell it from a vantage point. You are able to magnify those elements, those achievements. You are able to place yourself within the context of the heroic exploits of your own people. But when the story is being told about you, the person telling the story always robs you of that glory, and they place themselves at the center of the story as the main act, while you are an appendix, while you are just, an extension of them. Remember, you are the main player in your own life. You are the main actor in the story of your life. You are the hero or the heroine in the story of your life. And remember, a hero doesn't die in the story. So you are that hero. It's time to take on that opportunity and tell the story from your own angle. I have a special message to share, particularly with the people of Matabele. And I'd like to say to you, for too long, you were spectator. For too long, you played victim. Of course, you were a victim. But I think for quite some time, that image of a victim was magnified to the point where it disempowered you. But take note of what has happened ever since you began a new narrative in the last 2, 3, 5 years. You have become at the center. You've come to the center of the story. You've begun to chart a new course. Now you are causing even the enemy to backpedal and start thinking. So instead of playing defensive football in the proverbial sense, you have started attacking football. In other words, you have assumed the central position of the story. You are now planning and you are now acting. And those who were responsible for perpetrating all kinds of injustices against you now find themselves having to react. They are having to think of what you are doing, what you are planning. So you have actually assumed control of your own destiny, and you are charting the way forward. You have always been heroes. Your history is littered with names of great men and women who achieved great exploits. You are talking about Mzilikazi, and talking about Lopehula, talking about the 1893 war and the Battle of Shangan and the Battle of Pupu. Yes, the slaughter of the whole, Alan Wilson patrol at Shanghai. What about the 1896 uprising and the bomb with the Ink of Gas, Ulos K? Talk about all those achievements, the formation of ZIPRA, the leadership of Joshua Mkapu. Yes, the exploits of ZIPRA, Battle of Wangi. Talk about all those battles, the Battle of the Gorges. Talk about everything right up to the time when you were overtaken and somehow you surrendered your power and your authority, leading to Gugurahundi and so on. But remember, you can always pick yourselves up. And this is the time for you to pick yourselves up. And commendably, you have done so. People of Matabele, stand up and tell your story. The time is now. Thank you very much for taking part and paying attention to this presentation. Thank you. Bye-bye.